Long ago, when the world was bright and full of stories, an evil wizard gained the power to touch the face of God. Narrativa, goddess of stories and weaver of our world, banished him to the void, but not before he stole a piece of her divine essence. With this newfound power, the wizard lay a dread curse upon all the world, the Glyph Purge, which struck from the minds of all mortals the knowledge of how to read and write. Now, all that stand between the Isle of Meotia and an age of endless ignorance are the bards, who tell stories of distant lands, exotic creatures, and brave heroes. This is one such tale.
Hello and welcome to Challenge Rating Zero, the latest and greatest Dungeons & Dragons podcast to hit the internet airwaves. I am Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I am joined as always by my longtime friends and adventuring companions.
Hello, I'm Brian, and I play Hector the Gatekeeper.
Hi, I am Beth, and I play Rilla Longshadow.
Hey there, I'm Alex, and I play Ruger Firehide.
And last but not least, we have the man who calls himself Michael, but who we call Parker, Michael Parker, playing the druid Zurabak. Say hi, Parker.
Hi, Parker.
Fantastic. We're joined once again, dear listeners, for a tale of epic fantasy. Yeah, a lot of crazy shit has transpired in the last few episodes. Just several arcs of crazy stuff going on. Let's get back into it. When last we left our heroes, Hector Rilla Zurabek and the lawman Ruger Firehide had in continuing their desperate journey to recover a giant skull, the last piece of a spell they need to fix the world and end the Glyph Purge. They had traveled from the mountain range known as the Gate and the town of Giant's Rest, where they thought this skull was located. And after many battles and travails, had to go all the way to the Shatterbark Wood far to the frozen north. They had to infiltrate and destroy a adamantine-covered worm. They had to negotiate with and eventually make a grave sacrifice to the dragon Kesk, Hector losing his arm to spare the lives of him and his companions in retribution for previous crimes against this great dragon. Our heroes infiltrated a frozen smithy and retrieved the skull of a mad giant who died there in ages past. They retrieved a skull, a very cool hammer, and after all of these death-defying missions, finally returned to their home, to most of their home, not everyone's home, in Everspring. And so we join our heroes now. I believe at the end of the last episode, everyone was kind of going their separate ways. I believe that Hector just went to sleep, went to his room and passed out as soon as he could, still having to grapple with the fact that he has lost an entire arm. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
All right, so Hector is currently sleeping it off. Rilla went to go hang out with the elves at Lakeside, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Ruger Firehide and the Stricken were taking this giant's skull down to the vault in Grotmire, where the Order of the Quill keeps all of the written works.
Somebody's got to do the job.
Indeed. And Zurabak was doing Zurabak things, if I remember correctly, just kind of wandering off into the city to do whatever he wanted with Snake. Is that right?
Yeah, probably. I can't stop him.
No one can, and that's the terrifying thing. We're going to start with Zurabak, King of the Shocker Lizards, Champion of the Goats, Emperor of the Rats, Duke of the Isle of Neho, Zurabak the Unburned Void Eater. As you stalk through the streets of Everspring, the small, cowardly, weak, meaningless denizens of this city clearing the streets as you approach, no one getting closer than 3 feet of you. You've been walking through town for long enough that everyone kind of knows who you are, but your form and visage are still incredibly terrifying as you stride the streets in your spiked armor, your white mantle, your giant alligator skull helm, with your snake the size of a small wagon. Just a fucking whole wagon, actually. What am I talking about? Slithering along behind you.
Hey, big boy.
As you're making your way down a street in Everspring, this annoyingly colorful city, banefully alive with music on every corner, teeming with life. A very familiar voice comes tumbling out of a bar, followed quickly by a familiar form. Your herald, Cedric, brother of Hector the Gatekeeper, comes racing out of a bar as you're walking down one of the streets of Everspring. Boss! Oh, thank God! Lord Zarabak! Oh, you're alive. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. I thought I was going to have to look for a new job for a second there. Hi, are you good? Are you okay? Was the last mission a success?
Probably.
That's good. That's good. Well, great. Well, I've been here sort of, holding down the fort. And he stands up tall and crosses his arms beneath his enormous goat skin cloak with goat horns coming off the hood from on top of his head. He says, well, I'm glad you're okay. I just wanted to sort of let you know that you got a lot of money. It's the craziest thing. Some dwarves showed up in black armor, like just a little bit ago, and apparently they heard I was working for you, so they just dropped off this giant chest of gold. So I don't know if you wanted to spend that or what you'd want to do with all that money. It's a lot of money.
Your problem now.
I'm sorry.
I don't want it. You can have it.
I can't. I can. I can have all. I can have the money.
Sure.
My Lord Zarabak, I'm going to be honest with you because you're my boss and there needs to be trust. I counted it. There's 20,000 gold pieces in this chest. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. Are you saying it's all mine?
Yep.
Okay. He drops down on his knees in the street. All praise Duke Zarabak! All hail the Duke of the Isle of Neho! His glorious mercy shine upon us! And he just loses his shit down in the street.
Yep.
We're going to switch to Rilla Longshadow. Rilla, you are heading just outside of the city of Everspring, a little farther down the coast of the massive Lake Danum, that the city is nestled up against, to the newly built settlement of the Elven diaspora recently escaped from the Springvale Forest, known colloquially as Lakeside. You pass by the massive ironwood tree, the memorial to the fallen in the Springvale Forest, and head into the very recently built timber shacks that many of your fellow elves are inhabiting. As you get into the town, bustling with wild elves, building new structures and trying to, find a new life here outside of their ancestral home. Your aunt Erefin approaches you. She sees you coming across a street as she's talking to two other wild elves. Your aunt is, of course, dressed in this lovely flowing robe made of verdant green leaves all woven together. She turns and approaches you. Well, if it isn't my little sarsaparilla. How are you, dear? You've been gone for quite some time.
I mean, not great, but also not ready to talk about it. But not good.
Oh, my dear, I'm so sorry to hear it. Well, you know you can tell me anything, but by the gods, are you hurt? And she rushes over and holds your chin in two fingers, and turns your head to the side.
No.
Are you all right?
No. I'm fine, physically. We did some dumb shit. We did get inside an adamantine worm and exploded, and that was gross, and weird, and we had to survive our second encounter with an evil dragon. But like, we're fine. I'm alive. I didn't die this time. It's just you know, uh, making friend stuff. It's fine. It'll be fine. Probably.
Oh, dear. Well, I'm terribly sorry to hear it. I'm also terribly sorry that you've had to thrust yourself into such impossibly dangerous scenarios. By the gods, I'm glad you're still alive. We already lost you once, dear. You must be more careful, though. I can remember the days of my youth, where me and my friends used to charge into the maws of rampaging creatures. To be young again. In any event, dear, whenever you're ready to talk, I'm here for you. But you have just a large amount of money. A couple of dwarves came by not too long ago and dropped off a huge chest of gold. Said it was for you.
Did they say why?
Some sort of payment from the Iron Shogun down in Grotmire, the leader of the dwarves.
Oh, cool. I'm sure that doesn't come with any strings attached. Awesome. How much is it?
Quite a lot, dear. Is something around 20,000 gold pieces.
Ah, shit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably not good.
Well,
I mean, it's great, but also, well, yeah, that's just another thing to have to worry about. Awesome, cool. I guess I should spend it?
considering everything you've been through, my dear, it seems like quite a just reward for your efforts. If I were you, I'd maybe try to buy a few things to make sure your next adventure isn't, well, at least you're better prepared for it.
Some retail therapy might be fun. Where's Dara? She'd probably get a kick out of this. Help me blow this much money, right?
I can think of no one better. And she points out towards the edge of the lake that this little community is built up against, and you see Dara busily working to assemble a small canoe. And you wander over to invite her to go shopping. We're going to swap real quick to Hector the Gatekeeper. Hector, you are sleeping off a horrific wound that you received. You are missing your entire arm. So Brian, Hector the Gatekeeper, the character you play is left-handed, and so Hector the Gatekeeper sacrificed his right arm, his non-dominant arm, to the dragon cask. Is that my understanding?
Yes.
Fantastic, great. So you've lost your right arm. You were healed, by your companions when you first lost it, and since returning to your room, you have had a visit from some healers from the medical academy here in town to check you over and make sure that everything is okay, no infection, anything like that. You've been coming in and out of sleep for a while now, but there is a loud thumping knock at your door as you drift in and out of a fitful sleep, trying to recover from this grievous wound.
Hector wakes up and goes to get up and stumbles a bit when he goes to try and put pressure, like push off his bed, because it's still all pretty new.
Yeah, you reach out as you roll out of bed. You reach out to brace yourself against a wall standing up, and you don't have an arm there anymore. So yeah, you stumble a bit, strike your shoulder against the wall as you make your way over to the door. As you pull it open, you see there are two dwarves standing there in beautifully crafted plate armor with black lacquer all over it, fully enclosed helms, curved swords at their sides, and they are holding between them an enormous wooden chest. And they say, one of them says, "By order of the Iron Shogun, On behalf of service to the realm, you have been bequeathed this treasure from the Iron Shogun's very vaults. And they drop it on the ground and sort of push it in the door. And then they both salute and then just turn and start to leave.
Hector nods, opens it up. Is it a mimic?
As delicious as that would be, no. This one isn't a mimic. I've never really been a mimic DM now that I think about it. I don't think I've ever used one in a game in my whole life. Well, you guys should be scared for the rest of the campaign. Blame Brian when it happens.
I mean, it should only happen to Brian because it's his fault.
I like that.
It just keeps happening to Brian. I open that potion. It's a mimic. Hector, you open up this treasure chest. Seems to be about 20,000 gold pieces in there.
20,000 mimics.
20,000 coin-sized mimics.
Swarm attack.
And then we're going to switch to Ruger Firehide. Ruger, you are just outside the vault. You've walked through the beautiful rainbow city of Everspring with its colored streets and its swirling melodies. You've gone to the enormous great lift that lowers down into the city of Grotmire, the subterranean dwarven metropolis underneath Everspring. And you've traveled with the Stricken all the way to the vault, the stronghold of the Order of the Quill, the receptacle of all the written word in all the land recovered by your knightly order. And as you go in and drop off this giant's skull, Captain Kurz comes around a corner and says, "Ah, Firehide! By the gods, it's good to see you're still with us. How are you? You look a bit weathered."
Well, wow. You're just going to open up with an insult, huh, Curse? After all these years, you're going to shame me? Nice to see you, buddy.
Come on, homie. We both know the life. You got fucked up, huh?
Yeah, I did nearly die facing, a past villain. Those seem to bubble up every now and again, and squared off with a dragon, got eaten by a giant worm, got yelled at by a teenager, which somehow was the worst part of it. But yeah, buddy, I made it out to the other side, and here I am.
Well, I'm certainly glad you're still alive. The thickest armor in all the realm can't protect one from the poisoned barbs of an angry teen. Congratulations on surviving.
Yep, thanks, buddy. How's it been here? Everything all right?
Things have been good. We've put in some new security measures that I'll tell you about at the next meeting of our friends. And he
Yep.
He looks around. Looks around the room and winks at you.
I shake my head a little, say, "All right, friend, all right." That all sounds invigorating. Is there
In the meantime, there's been a delivery for you.
Oh yeah?
Some dwarves came by not too long ago with a massive chest of coins. It seemed to be about 20,000 gold.
20,000 gold pieces. Some dwarves, you say?
It seems the Iron Shogun decided you needed some reward for services to the realm. Congratulations! You're rich!
Yeah, okay then. Not... Yeah, alright. I guess, no questions asked then. If the Iron Shogun wills it, so it will be done. You want a cut of it, or do I...
Oh no, that's all you, homie. I'm all good. And he snaps his fingers, and a couple of knights bring forward this massive chest of gold coins. Congratulations, all. You all got paid. You each have $20,000. Zurabak's Herald has $20,000 to spend on whatever you'd like. There are plenty of equipment shops, magical items, anything you'd want to buy and can buy. Or anything you want to buy, you can buy here in the city of Everspring. For a long time, players of D&D 3.5, there are elaborate tables for purchasing, crafting, all kinds of stuff, magic items. It's one of my favorite things about this version. And through the magic of podcasting, I happen to know that everyone has already selected what they are going to buy, including Zurabak's Herald. Let's just go on down the list and hand wave the shopping bonanza. Hector the Gatekeeper, Keeper of the Gates, you've been gifted 20,000 gold pieces. What are you going to do with this money? What do you buy?
I don't know, like stuff, probably. Like cool stuff.
I didn't realize I was talking to Parker. I thought I was talking to Brian. That's weird. That's weird.
I mean, I guess I'll probably get a belt of giant strength.
That sounds fun. A belt of giant strength, you say? And what does that do?
It increases my strength score by, well, there's a few different ones, but I'm going to get the +4 one, so it increases my strength score by 4.
Hell yeah. This wide belt is made of thick leather and studded with iron. Excellent. So you got a fucking WWE belt. Hell yeah. And yeah, your strength is vastly improved by 4 entire points. Awesome. What else do you buy?
And then that's most of my money right there. Those are pretty expensive. But I'm then going to go ahead and get some bracers of armor.
Hell yeah.
+2, which increases my armor class by 2.
Excellent. These items appear to be wrist or arm guards. They surround the wearer with an invisible but tangible field of force, granting them an armor bonus of +2, just as though you were wearing armor. Hell yeah. What do these look like? Are these like dope ass like 80s workout sweatbands, or like what are your braces of armor look like?
Honestly, you tell me. What do I find in the marketplace? What do they look like when I find them?
Well, at Evan's Emporium, the only place to go for magical items. Evan's got in his cabinet. I guess these will work. And you find a couple of nice like steel arm bracers that are lined with fur. They seem to have some old runes scrawled in them that you, of course, can't read or make any sense of. But yeah, they're these nice like plates of metal with a leather band to secure them, and they are tastefully trimmed with fur.
Nice.
Nice. Did you buy anything else?
Nope, that is all my money.
Fantastic. Coming in, going out, love it. Let's see. Rilla Longshadow, you have 20,000 gold pieces. You and your sister Dara just paint the town red with gold. What do you buy with your newfound wealth?
So I get a cloak of charisma, which adds a +4 to my charisma, bumping up to a beautiful 23. That's a +6.
Goddamn.
And I think this has to be a Charissa Lamstrand original, I would think.
It is absolutely a Charissa Lamstrand original. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it's like 14,000 gold, so this feels like it's up our alley. It's somewhere crazy around there, right?
Yeah,
So-
it's a lot.
So I'll leave it to you to describe that, but I'm thinking maybe it's just straight up gold cloth or something stupid. And then the other main thing I bought were bracers of armor, because as a sorcerer, I can't wear real armor, so my AC is very, very low. And those give me
Yeah.
a +2 to my AC. And I also
Very cool.
buy Dara like the most elaborate, ridiculous ice cream.
Yeah, you get her an ice cream cone shaped like the head of a unicorn,
Yes.
with a candy horn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, your cloak of charisma is a shimmering golden garment that feels like it's made of flowing fabric. It is lightweight enough that it catches the breeze perfectly, and it's lined with a silver trim of intricate scroll work all along it. It has one clasp that is a it's a solid gold clasp that looks like a woman's face blowing out a swirling breeze.
Yes.
That clasps together. It's the most comfortable cloak you've ever worn. It can completely encompass you within its folds, and yeah, it is an incredibly stylish garment. One of the most expensive things Charissa Lamstrand has, um, and yeah, nicely done. So you have a cloak of charisma, you have bracers of armor.
Yep.
And that's all you got.
That was all of my money. Yes.
Fantastic. Ruger Firehide.
Yes.
You got 20,000 gold pieces. How are you going to spend it?
Wisely. So the first thing I bought was a breastplate because I've been rocking the same chainmail shirt since the beginning of the campaign, and it was time for an upgrade.
Excellent. You receive a just from like the fucking quartermaster in the Order of the Quill. You receive a beautiful shining silver breastplate with the crossed quill and scroll emblem of your knightly order. It is beautiful, burnished, and emblazoned with the sigil of the Order of the Quill.
Yeah, I'm a shiny paladin now, and I just have to own it. So
You sure are, bud.
Yeah. Now that being said, I am still a man of the roughs at the heart. So the other items that I bought,
A man of the
well,
roughs.
you know, it's true.
I love it. No, it's great.
So I bought an interesting spread. I think I bought a ring of protection +1, which is similar to Hector and Rilla's bracers of armor. It ups my armor class by +1, but it's just a ring. It's just
Sweet.
a magic ring, which is nice. I did also finally, and I didn't get rid of it, but well, shit. Maybe Jarmax burned the original. Anyways, I bought a new cloak. Specifically, I bought a cloak of resistance +3, which for the listeners at home means I now get a +3 bonus to my 3 saving throws, which is very nice. I also
Excellent, yeah.
bought a periapt of wisdom +2, which I had to look up. I guess a periapt is like an amulet.
Yeah.
But
It's one of those weird D&D words that you have to learn, like phylactery.
100%.
It's like, yeah, I don't know.
I was
Sure,
convinced
why
for a
not?
second that it was a potion. But yeah, no, it's an amulet of wisdom that increases my wisdom score, which benefits me in a multitude of ways. And then lastly, but definitely not leastly, I did buy some horseshoes of speed, which will double, I do believe, double my spectral ghost horse speed, which is very nice. Very exciting.
Hell yeah. So yeah, with horseshoes of speed, your mount's speed will increase by 30 feet. Which means your horse is going to go 80, has a speed of 80, I believe.
I have 90 written down.
Which is, okay, sure, yeah. No, yeah, because it's even faster because it's your animal companion, so yeah. Yeah. Your horse has a movement speed of 90 feet a turn. Hell yeah. Excellent. Yeah, that periapt of wisdom is a pearl on a silver chain around your neck. And yeah, that cloak of resistance, that's probably a Lamstrand original as well. It's not a cheap garment.
No, it's a +3, so I don't remember what that cost,
you
but
get a
it's the most expensive item.
you get a lovely flowing black cloak that is made of a sort of shimmering velvet. It is at the same time dark as night and has a lovely sheen to it. And it has a clasp that is the symbol of your order as well. The quill and scroll crossed. Excellent. Very cool. And that leaves us with Zurabak, King of the Shock Lizards, Champion of the Goats, Emperor of the Rats, Duke of the Isle of Niho, Zurabak the Unburned, Void Eater. Now, you've said that all your money is just going to Cedric, your herald. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Fantastic. Cedric knows exactly what he wants to buy. He asks you to tag along with him as he goes shopping. And as you amble down the street after him as he flits from store window to store window, he eventually ends up at Evan's Emporium, a place you've never been to because you don't give a fuck about buying magic items. And he picks out one item that uses up every bit of gold in that chest. This item that he picks up is a horn. It looks just like a normal trumpet, and he kind of holds it to his lips and plays a few quick notes, and yeah, it just sounds like a trumpet. But then he asks you to step outside with him, and he finds a spot in the street where no one's standing, and he points it straight up in the air, and he speaks a command word, and as he plays it, an enormous wave of devastating sonic energy roils out from it, a ringing blast that like makes the air ripple in front of you. He shakes a couple shop windows, and everyone around him kind of claps their hands to their ears. And he says, "Now this, boss, this is how we're going to make an entrance. This is a horn of blasting. Oh, with this thing, I can punch a hole in just about anything." Yeah, thanks a lot, boss. It's gonna be awesome.
As long as you enjoy it.
So he's purchased a horn of blasting. Yeah, so this thing does 5d6 damage to creatures in a 40-foot cone and causes them to be deafened unless they make a saving throw. Crystalline objects and creatures take 7d6 points of damage. It's just basically can be used as a devastating sonic weapon. If it's used more than once in a given day, there's a 20% chance that each extra use causes it to explode and deals 10d6 points of damage to the person sounding it. And he's got a crazy look in his eye when he blasts this thing, so who knows how that's going to resolve. But yeah, that is all your money, Zurabak. You've made your herald very happy, and pretty much guaranteed his service for the rest of forever. He tucks his new horn into his goat hide mantle and beams from ear to ear. It is just as you are all finishing your shopping and accruing all these things that time seems to slow for all of you. The movement of the people around you silences, the rustle of their clothes stopping, and the rain seems to hold still in midair as you are all surrounded by a golden glow, and you all level up. Due to the ridiculous boss rush I've put you all through, the reoccurring villains that you have faced, and just all the stuff you've gone through in this last arc, you have all gained 3 levels. And through the magic of podcasting, you've all already leveled up. And we're going to go through what you got. Zurabak the Void Eater, Duke of the Isle of Niho. You have...
I definitely leveled up.
Okay, that's that's great. I'm very glad to hear it. So you were going from a level 12 druid to a level 15 druid, which is great. And so, getting those 3 levels, you get a feature called 1,000 Faces, which is fun. With the 1,000 Faces ability, you can use Disguise Self at will. And the changes are not an illusion. That's the most fucked up part. So you can change the appearance of your body, not your possessions, like Disguise Self. So you can look like any humanoid creature you want, And it's not an illusion. You actually change your body like that, which is great. So you've gained the 1,000 Faces ability with this level up, which is nice. You also get Timeless Body. Oh my god. After attaining 15th level, a druid no longer takes penalties for aging and cannot be magically aged. Bonuses still accrue. Okay, and you do die of old age when your time is up. I mean, obviously this wasn't written for Zurabak, but basically, yeah, you will no longer suffer any penalties for aging at all, and you can't be magically aged, which is fun. So you'll be just as strong and powerful and horrifically devastating for the rest of your time on the Isle of Meosha.
Sounds about right.
Yep, until they cut you the fuck down.
They'll try.
They sure, boy, they will. You also got more bonuses for your animal companion. Snake has more health, better armor, stronger strength. And lastly, but not leastly, as a level 15 druid, on top of the bonuses to your base attack bonus, your saving throws, all that stuff, you now can cast 8th level druid spells. So we're blowing the doors completely off this shit. 8th level druid spells are things like, let's see, animal shapes. 1 ally per level polymorphs into a chosen animal. Finger of Death kills 1 subject. Earthquake, intense tremor, shakes 5 foot per level radius. My word. Whirlwind, where you just make a cyclone. Reverse gravity. Yeah, just real fucked up shit. So we're starting to firmly get into the natural disaster territory of things. And boy, I just can't wait. So yeah, congratulations, you are a 15th level character. You also get a feat for being level 15, and you picked a metamagic feat, I believe.
Persistent spell, yeah.
Persistent spell, and that allows you to make a spell last for 24 hours?
Yeah.
If I remember correct?
That is correct.
Excellent. Because of the level adjustment on metamagic, and if you play 3.5, you're going to know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what we're talking about, don't fucking worry about it. But the level adjustment with that metamagic feat, you're only going to be able to cast lower level spells, but they will last for a fucking day. So pretty cool. Nice. So yeah, that is your level. You are a level 15 druid and have achieved just ridiculous amounts of power. Nicely done. Let's go to, I don't know, who wants to go next? Rilla, you want to go next?
Sure. You might.
Rilla Longshadow, you've gained 3 levels. What'd you take your levels in?
All of my levels were taken in Master Transmographist, which is my new class. So I'm now level 4 in that. I am up to getting 5th level spells. And my special things I get for Master Transmographist include I now have the senses of the creatures I transform into. I have my first round of battle mastery, which adds a +2 to attack rolls for my favorite creatures.
Oh damn!
And I have effortless change now, which allows me to cast the spells to transform myself, I think, silently and without motion, so I can be a little sneaker with them. And I also get another favorite shape, which might be the only thing I haven't done, because I just realized I didn't add one. But yeah, and then I got new spells, so I took, for 5th level, I now have Baleful Polymorph, and I got Teleport. 4th level, I added Dimensional Anchor. 3rd level, I added Haste. 2nd, I got Melf's Acid Arrow. 1st, I got Endure Elements, and my 0 level, I got Touch of Fatigue. And then for feats, I took Leadership.
That is correct. Well, an excellent and devastating assortment of spells, including Teleport, which any longtime players know is going to kind of just completely change the game on what they can do and can go, which is anything and anywhere now.
Now when Rilla wants to go cry somewhere, she can just leave y'all and go very far away very quickly. So that's good.
And write her poetry,
Yeah.
which she can't do because
Right.
it's Meosha. The excellent. And yeah, you got the leadership feat. Now, this brings up a whole host of interesting narrative and technical stuff, which we will get to a little later in the episode. But for now, let's just know that Rilla has the leadership feat, and we're gonna move on along. Ruger Firehide.
That's me. Yeah, I picked
You
up.
gained 3 levels. What did you level up in?
Yeah, I picked up 3 levels of Paladin, and I will admit that they are not the splashiest of levels. I can remove disease an extra time a week, so there's that, which plays into the side story of healing people. So there's that.
Oh yeah, the medical academy.
Right,
loves
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. Now I can do that twice per week. But otherwise, a lot of nuts and bolts here. My attack bonus goes up, some of my save throws go up, and I do get access to Paladin's second level spells, which, second level spells aren't, they're not going to knock your socks off here, but Bull's Strength, Eagle's Splendor, Owl's Wisdom, Remove Paralysis, Shield Other. So
Zone of Truth.
Oh yeah,
always
Zone
fun.
of Truth. Good point. So
Great for interrogations.
yep. And I also got a feat, and I also chose leadership.
Bow, 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 bow. Excellent. Once again, leadership is a complex feat that we will get into a little later in the episode. But yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and that's your 3 levels. Nice. Even more paladin-y.
Yeah, for those at home, I am now a level 6 ranger, level 9 paladin.
You're goddamn right. And Hector the Gatekeeper, keeper of the gates.
Hi, that's me.
It
Hi.
sure is.
So for my 3 levels, I took 2 levels of Bard and felt it was only fitting with returning back to my home and stuff to take one of those levels as Barbarian again, putting me at 8 Bard, 7 Barbarian.
Cool.
With my Bard levels, my Inspire Courage ability has improved to a +2 instead of a +1.
Hell yeah.
I also gained some new spells, including I now have 3rd level spells. Let's see, my new spells include Mirror Image. That's a new 2nd level spell, and for my 3rd level
Fuck you
spells.
for that, by the way. Just preemptively fuck you for getting that one. Keep going.
You're welcome. I also just realized that I was supposed to know another 1st level spell, and I never did. I never picked a 4th 1st level spell, so I just went ahead and did that ventriloquism because I do like my throwing my voice spells.
Yep.
And then for 3rd level spells, I now have Cure Serious, so that I'm a healer. Hi. I also have Scrying and
Oh, damn.
Sculpt Sound because, again, I like a good theme on spells, and sound-based spells has been a theme.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
And then for my 1 level of Barbarian that I took, I have gained... it's not much, but it's something. I now have Damage Reduction +1. Or damage reduction 1.
So that means that for those at home, every time Hector the Gatekeeper gets hit, we reduce the damage he takes by 1.
Yeah.
Every time, which is pretty fun.
Additionally, all those levels together have put my base attack bonus up enough to where Hector now has 3 attacks.
Ooh, devastating.
In full attack action. And yes, I have also gained a feat... And I took leadership.
Dun, dun, dun. That's right, listeners at home. 3 members of the adventuring party have taken the leadership feat. Now, let's just go ahead and unpack this right now. What the leadership feat does in Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 is it makes you the leader of a very large group of followers, which are low-level characters that are completely under the command, the behest, the orders of our player characters here. They are various levels, and they are quite a few of them. And not only do they get these followers, these private armies of NPCs that they get to control and give orders to and hatch all kind of schemes with, they also get what's called a cohort. Now, a cohort is basically a lieutenant. It is a bodyguard, a counselor, an all-around right hand. And because of the math that we've worked out off mic, taking into account things like how powerful the players are, how charismatic they are, their reputations and their morality, they have attracted cohorts of very high level. So not only are Rilla, Ruger, and Hector each going to be boasting very large forces of followers, they each get basically a lieutenant. And Ruger's lieutenant gets to be level 13. Rilla's lieutenant gets to be level 12. And Hector's lieutenant gets to be level 13 as well. So what this means as far as gameplay is concerned is that I've made up powerful NPCs to serve as their cohorts. They are going to get the character sheets for these NPCs, and they basically each get to play 2 characters. They command these NPCs and can benefit from their spellcasting, from their knowledge, their unique skill sets, and all that good stuff. So yeah, I have crafted some NPCs here that our characters are going to meet and recruit, as well as getting big ass fucking armies. Do we want to real quick just give our listeners a taste of how big your forces are? Ruger, I believe you just wrote down what your follower count is. Why don't you read that off for us?
Yeah, so I have 75 first level followers, 7 second, 4 third level, 2 fourth, as well as 2 fifth level followers, and 1 beautiful, immaculate 6th level follower.
So just a small army of nearly 100 warriors from level 1 to level 6. Just a real crazy huge.
Including the cohort, that's 92 people.
Yeah. So the head of an entire organization. Just a huge fucking huge boon. Now, of course, fighting someone like Kask the Giant Dragon, a bunch of level 1 goons are really only going to be able to maybe slow it down for a round or two, but an organization that large can be hugely impactful for any variety of things. Nice. Each of those 3 player characters is going to get their own fucking army, which we will outline narratively here in a little bit. So you were all in the city of Everspring. You have been given a shit ton of money from the Iron Shogun, which you've spent on magical arms and armor or on your herald because you're a baller. You have leveled up, reflecting on your past adventures and increased in experience and might and power. And you are in the peaceful security of the city of Everspring. You are just about done shopping and leveling up when all 4 of you receive from a young page from the Bard's College a small plank of wood. When it is handed to you, a mouth appears on the plank of wood that says,
It's a mimic.
please.
Ah!
More like a magic mouth spell, but they're easy to confuse at first. A mouth springs up on this tiny board of wood that says, At your convenience, please meet at the Diviner's Tower.
I have no idea who that is.
That is exactly right, Zurabak. You don't. Your herald, Cedric, says, well, I mean, it sounds kind of important, but like also you're a duke, so you can just do whatever you want, my lord. Like, what do you feel like doing? We can go back to the castle on the islands, or I don't know, go wherever. Can we walk on the air again? That was really awesome. Or teleport in a plant.
Let me scare at least 5 more of these puny mortals, and then we'll go have fun.
Okay, I'm sorry. What?
Let's just scare 5 more people.
Okay, sorry.
Get
I
our
didn't hear the
quota
word
in.
scare. What I heard was let's just get 5 more of these puny mortals. Now, like, are we kidnapping?
Zurabak didn't take the leadership feat. He's just going to kidnap an army.
I wanted an organization too.
Excellent. Yeah. Zurabak, roll me an intimidate check.
Oh, hold on. I was ill prepared to roll dice.
Oh, we could just make up numbers like we've all been doing this whole time. That's a joke, listeners. We're rolling dice here.
As far as you know.
My intimidate is a +1 because I have that's how much bonus I have in charisma. But I rolled a 14, so 15 overall.
15 is more than enough for you and your terrifying visage to scare the shit out of like a dozen people before the afternoon is up. Especially because your herald is really taking a liking to this new game. And so this has started to take the form of, instead of you stalking and like jumping out at people, Cedric is kind of just like surprise introducing you and scaring the shit out of groups of people on the street. He'll just walk up behind people and toot his horn real loud and be like, "Presenting!" And yeah, you cow a good large crowd of people.
This is what's best in life.
After your wonderfully successful scare campaign, what does Zurabak want to do? Now that
I guess my herald wants to walk on air, so I guess we'll do that. Jump through the plants, whatever he wants. It's his day.
Fantastic.
He got paid.
Yeah. You cast Airwalk, and you and your herald, him like giddily shrieking, step out onto the open air over the Everspring Mountains and take off, scudding after clouds. You touch down somewhere on the untainted outskirts of the Springville Forest and go tree jumping. You just you have a grand old time. Rilla, Hector, and Ruger, what do you do in response to the summons?
I go to the Diviner's Tower.
Yeah.
At my nearest convenience.
Yeah. I'll lollygag. But eventually I go.
There's actually legitimately, now that Hector is like awake and has received some medical treatment, there is one thing that Hector will want to do first.
That's totally fine. We're in town. The whole city of Everspring is open to you. What do you want to do?
I would like to seek out the Hilltopples.
Fantastic. They are drinking at the Crooked Stool Tavern on the docks by the College of Everspring. The lovely dive bar set out on the pylon, sagging slightly to the side. And they are in a booth in the corner as a bustling crowd of college students raucously drink. Lovely din over the bar, the clattering of glasses and the loud laughter of exhausted students.
Hector orders 3 drinks at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And then has to ask the bartender for help getting them over to the table because he realizes he doesn't have a second fucking hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. you go to grab up all 3 mugs, and yeah, another painful moment of realization. Yeah, and it should be worth noting that as you walk into the bar, and as you've been walking through town, people have been throwing you long glances and sort of every once in a while covering their mouth with their hand as you walk past. People are noticing and they are shocked. And yeah, the bartender quickly snatches up the extra glasses and brings them over to the table in the corner, and you looming over these 2 halfling sisters, Helga, the red-haired, and Olga, the black-haired Helltopple sisters. You slide into the booth, and Olga says, "By the gods, Hector, I'm so sorry. That's are you okay?"
Yeah. Well, an old debt was paid. And speaking of old debts being paid, Hector pulls off of his belt a slightly soggy cloth sack, and sets it on the table between the 2 sisters. And inside said sack is the heart of Varric's Hand of the Void.
Hell yeah, it is. Fuck yeah, it is. Oh my god. The Hilltopple sisters look at each other and then they look at the bag, and Helga, the red-haired sister, seems a little hesitant. She sort of reaches out to her little halfling arm and recoils, but Olga, the black-haired sister, just rushes forward, rips the bag open, and peers inside. And her face has an entire constellation of emotions just rippling from one to the other for a second. There's horror and disgust, and then rage, and then sorrow. But eventually, she shows it to her sister, and they both just look inside this bag at this heart for a good minute, and then they both sort of sigh, and they set it on the booth between them. And Olga turns to you and says, "Vengeance. Finally, vengeance for our mother's killer. Hector, you and your companions, most of them, have been nothing but kind to us. You helped us get through the mountains, the desert, the badlands. You kept us with you through your entire journey here to Everspring, and to add to our debt to you, the fact that you have finally slain that bastard Varix. There are no words to describe what this means to us. We are forever in your debt, and if there is anything you ever need, the Hilltopple clan is at your disposal."
You don't owe me anything. I failed to save your mother. The least I can do is avenge her. You don't owe me anything. We are friends.
Helga, the red-haired sister, reaches her arm over and places her hand atop yours and says, "Hector, we are friends. You are right on that score. And as a friend, please, let me tell you, we all failed that day. Not just you. We are not so weak ourselves that we should be forgiven for not keeping our mother safe. She was stolen right from our wagons. I hope that this burden does not keep you from moving through the world. You have more than enough on your shoulders without this. A drink." And she raises one of the mugs you brought over. "To sacrifice, to friendship, to debts paid." She throws back her drink, and so does her sister.
To Inga. And Hector throws back his drink as well.
To Mother. So, after that drink, as it turns out, you all arrive at the exact same time. Isn't that weird?
How does it happen?
And every time it's like you guys always just show up where the scene is at once. It's
Like,
crazy.
They told us to show up at a convenient time, and I intentionally showed up at an inconvenient time, and still you all are here. Explain it.
Blame it on protests, right?
So yeah, you all arrive in the broad courtyard outside of the impossibly thin, impossibly tall spire that is the Diviner's Tower. This beautiful needle standing on the outskirts of the city of Everspring. There are two Knights of the Order of the Quill outside who wave you in without hesitation as you make your way inside, saluting. Ruger Firehide, Scrivener. You make your way through the foyer into the comfortable study and up the spiral staircase to the massive interior of this tower, a vertical shaft that is all one big room, the walls lined with mirrors showing a scintillating display of various vistas in multiple locations all over the Isle of Meosha. The Diviner floats about 10 feet off the ground, surrounded by a flurry of tiny blue magical eyeballs that flit to and fro from all of the mirrors before returning to her hand. She is wearing her normal sort of blue suit with a blue cloth wrapped around her eyes. And the rest of the conspiracy is here as well. Lore Master Holland, Pockets from the Turnkeys, Colt from the Runners, Captain Kurz from the Order of the Quill, and Anthony Geist is here as well. As you all enter, the Diviner lowers down and looks at you three and says, I cannot begin to imagine how terrible these last few days have been for you three. I have watched every moment and tried to give what support I could, as I promised when last we met. But what you all have done, it's incredible, it's miraculous. How are you all feeling? Facing Varix, facing Kesk, bringing this last piece of the spell back to Everspring. We here just wanted to check in and see how you all were holding up.
I looked to my companions.
Yeah, it's a bonkers question, kind of, huh?
I've been better.
Yeah, I try not to look at his non-existent arm, but I kind of can't help it. The elephant that's not in the room.
For sure. The Diviner looks at... No, she doesn't.
Wow.
Oh, man. It's been a real struggle lately to keep myself honest, to keep slipping up. Gotta stop doing that. A couple of these little blue arcane eyeballs sort of buzz around the three of you for a moment as the Diviner regards you with her magical sensors. And she says, yes, well, that was quite awkward, wasn't it? I apologize. I suppose small talk's never been my forte. Let's stick to business, shall we? And Captain Kurz says, yes, well, now that the... uses air quotes, pleasantries are over, you all have done incredible work with the return not only of the giant skull and also the blood of the dragon. The Stricken informs us we now have every arcane component we need to finish the spell. The spell you will use to end the glyph purge and fix this world once and for all. Thanks to your efforts, we've never been closer to our ultimate goal of bringing the written word back to the people. The only thing that remains to be done is fixing that cipher golem's skull that you all brought in when you first arrived here in Everspring. I'll leave that to Pockets. And he turns to Pockets, the leader of the Turnkeys, a sort of technicians guild here in Everspring. They are a dwarf with their long beard twined into their hair over their ears in long braids, wearing a leather outfit just covered top to bottom with pockets on every surface. And they say, "Aye, well, that's been going just fine, actually. I believe I told you last time we found some ancient drawings of some of these constructs, and we're making great time. The hardest part has been coming up with the parts for the damn thing. They don't make them like that anymore. We've had to scavenge what we can, but I can tell you we're very near to completion. Should be a few more weeks of sustained effort, and then I think we'll have something ready to test." Lore Master Holland takes it up from there. Her skeletal frame creeping out Rilla like it always does. She looks at you with her wide and deep sunken eyes in her silvery robes and says, "Yes, we are coming to a very dangerous part of our plan. The thing we learned from your last foray into the field is that the Lord Deceiver and their forces are watching us very closely, and in some cases are even a step ahead of us. The fact that Varix and his priests arrived at Giant's Rest before you, the fact that they destroyed the very thing you were there to grasp, does not bode well for our operational security. We will need to be even more careful as we move forward. If they knew how badly we were relying on this cipher golem, and anything happened to it, it would be disastrous. We, the conspiracy, have begun increasing security measures around the city of Everspring. We are drafting up soldiers every day from the citizenry, from the Bard's College. We have increased patrols of the Dwarven City Guard and the Order of the Quill. We are building defenses. I don't think it is too far to imagine that if Varix and his priests could so easily infiltrate Giant's Rest, well, we may have some unwelcome visitors here in the very city."
I'm just glaring at Anthony this whole time.
And Hector's glaring at Cole suspiciously. Colt. That's the other horse.
Yeah, there's a lot of horses with C names. Captain Kurz speaks up then and says, "Yes, we've been drawing up potential battle plans if any such infiltration might take place. We've been looking over the possibilities, and we think that if a force were to appear in this city, as they did in Giant's Rest, then we would need to make sure we had redundancies in command. We're going to need several people in a position to lead our forces no matter what chaos unfolds. And, well, to that point, we believe that you protagonists have each more than earned the right to marshal your own forces. You are all powerful, influential heroes of great renown and strength. It is fitting that you should all be given command of a force. Now, The composition of such is entirely up to you. I'm sure you will find no shortage of people willing to follow your banner. But we need to make sure that we have soldiers at the ready should the worst come. We are basically expecting at this point some strike from the Lord Deceiver's forces. And then Anthony Geist speaks up. He says, "Not only that, but you all seem to be forgetting the most important thing. We have indeed retrieved the components necessary to cast my spell. With the cipher golem fixed, we'll be able to read my grimoire, and we will be able to carve our way into the divine realm as I did 1,000 years ago. But we will need the strand, the piece of narrativa I stole so long ago, which currently resides in the hands of our enemy. If we cannot take that piece of narrativa and restore it to its rightful place on the divine realm, then all of this has been for nothing. Regardless of if they strike here, we will have to strike them, and we will need to marshal a force unlike any ever seen." Captain Kerr says, "Yes, well, that too, of course, yes. Well, in any event, you all have the run of this city. We are alive and prosperous in large part to all of your work. Recruit whoever you want to your forces, and make sure that we are ready no matter what comes. We will do what we can to firm up security around here, even more than we have, and also keep hard at work fixing the skull of the cipher golem. But, unless I'm mistaken, we also have more guests to expect in the near future. I believe the Gatekeeper clan entire and the Circle of the Serpent are on their way here."
Yes, and I have asked them to, along their path, escort any that they find that are willing to come. And furthermore, beyond the gates, I have asked the druid Gator to assist in the travel of any that are trapped on that side, since the gates are now closed. So, yes, the gatekeepers and the Circle of the Serpent, and hopefully many more.
Colt, the centaur, the leader of the runners, sort of tips the front of his hat at that and says, "Well, you ain't got nothing to worry about there, friend. My runners have been out there spreading the word and trying to keep tabs on everything out in the field. We got quite a force coming up this way. There are folks all the way down from the Briar Marsh through the Raging Sands and the Freeholds, all making their way here even as we speak. My folks are keeping communications between all the different bands and trying to, weed out any troublemakers or spies. But yeah, there's plenty of folks heading this way." And at that, Kerr says, "Well, there you have it. We will be preparing for war and keeping up our work on the Cipher Golem, and you all are free to build your forces however you see fit. In the meantime, you can call on us for aid in whatever you need. We are at your disposal. Until then, go forth in the light of Protos."
Fuck yeah. My axe flames up. Whoa, easy.
Yeah. You and Kerr's chest bump
Yep.
real quick.
Yep.
Just
I
like
slap
those.
his ass.
But yeah. So yeah. Congratulations, you have been debriefed by the conspiracy. And yeah, you each get to assemble your forces. We talked a little bit about this. As far as followers are concerned, I believe you all had some specific things in mind. Over the next few episodes, we're going to be playing with some time jumps and trying to move some things along narratively. But let's go ahead. Why don't you all tell me kind of how you imagine your armies are going to be, and then we'll bring this episode to a close. Why don't we start with... We'll start...
Non-existent.
Right. Zerabek's forces include his herald, Cedric. They include his castellan.
Snake.
They include his animal companion, Snake. They also include his castellan, Pretty Polly, and his, castellan's friend, Mrs. Fisher.
Somewhere out there might be maybe one shocker lizard survived.
Right.
There's definitely some goats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shocker lizards and goats.
What about rats?
Yeah. I mean, I think...
They're everywhere.
I think what we're all getting to is that Zerabak's had the leadership feat since the start of this game, and you're all just catching up, and that's fine. And it's good that we're all
So
on the
he's
same
the
page
emperor of the rats, but he has a snake.
now. Yes.
So isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, but when was the last time you saw a snake eat a rat?
Also, leadership through power, man. Fear. Leadership through intimidation.
Yeah, Zerabak's not above ruling through fear, for sure. It's like, serve me. Why? Well, I have the snake that'll end your world. It's like, oh, yeah, we'll serve you, whatever.
Yeah.
What do you need, man?
That makes sense.
I have a kaiju version of the thing that is your natural predator.
Is Snake going to get any bigger?
Sadly, no. Without magic, no. He's at as big as they come for druid pets.
He has reached his peak, but he is still huge. He is 3 squares on his side. He's 15 feet across on the game board there. It's insane. All right, real quick, let's get into how we imagine our armies are going to be, and then next session we'll meet our cohorts. So Rilla Longshadow, Rilla the Returned,
Yeah.
Martyr and Savior of the Elven People. We talked a little bit about you leading a force made up almost entirely of elves, if I understand correctly.
Correct. Whether Rilla likes it or not, and she does not like it, but she has kind of become a leader of what remains of her people. So yeah, they'll follow her, whether she wants them to or not.
Yeah, I really like the vibe of you taking this feat, but only because it's sort of been foisted on you narratively. These elves are going to do whatever you tell them to, so you may as well tell them to do stuff.
Yeah, the army already exists. We saw it in her family quest or personal quest. It's there, so
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So you are taking command of a large group of elven fighters and rangers from the Springvale Forest. Basically, everyone that can fight residing in this community of Lakeside, you are now their commander. You pull them together, and while you are, sort of running them through a couple of maneuvers, we'll say, trying to figure out how any of this shit works, you notice that a lot of your soldiers, your wild elf soldiers from your homeland, have started wearing masks during their training. They have started taking the ironwood masks that you have carved and placed on the martyr's tree sort of monument, and they've sort of taken to wearing these wooden masks that are as hard as iron, carved in the faces of their dead ancestors. And because of the magic mouth spell, they all talk and tell a little piece of the story of how the martyr's tree came to be. So you've got an army of elves with wood masks carved like ancient elves which talk, and it is awesome and creepy in the best way.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And your forces have taken to calling themselves the Returned, unless you have a better name for them.
I am cool with that.
And yeah, I think your leadership score was pretty close to Ruger and Hector there. So yeah, it's you got like 70, 80 goons.
73, technically.
A sizable force of elven warriors. And yeah, as far as like what kind of thing, I think we're looking at mostly fighters and rangers, but did you want any like special stuff in there?
We are all range, I think is what it is. Rilla does not want any frontline fighters. That's not her thing. This is we'll support from the towers, the trees, the whatever, but it's a range focused group.
Hell yeah. All right, so you've got you've got in your employ a group of nearly 100 hardened elven archers who have seen the horrors of their homeland just dying and turning on them. Nice. So yeah, you have your own archery unit. Good shit. Very cool. All right, Ruger Firehide. You have an army.
I do. And shocking no one, that army is going to consist of members of the Order of the Quill. And
hell yeah, it is. Yeah, we talked about you basically getting a command from Captain Kurz, who basically turns over a whole platoon to you.
Yeah, and so effectively what I view that as will be cavalry.
Hell yeah.
Which is super fun, especially because I can lead them on my badass ghost horse.
Yes, you fucking can.
And then, not to step too much into Rilla's lane, but I do envision a little bit of a part of that cavalry being like, Mongols with like mounted archery,
Sure,
it's not just about
some recurved short bows.
So
how dare you?
Well, you know me.
Rilla, don't you ever ride a fucking horse. Don't you ever.
I'll just be a horse.
Exactly, yes.
Excellent. So Ruger Firehide, you now have an army of Knights of the Quill, and you have a cavalry unit of 90 fucking 90 people, a devastating strike force of paladins on horseback, riding down anything before them. Fantastic. You have command of your own company of the Order of the Quill. Good shit. And now Hector the Gatekeeper, Keeper of the Gates. We had talked a little bit about your army, and you wanted to, of course, mix it up a little bit, yeah?
Yeah, I think Hector will want to recruit some bards.
Sure.
Reflecting that part of himself. Possibly even specifically some other apprentices of the Hall of Whispers. But the vast majority of his force is probably going to have to be them there gatekeepers.
Hell yes. Gatekeeper barbarians.
That aren't here yet, but they will be.
Yes, they will. Excellent. Nice. So a lovely strike force of barbarians, around 90 barbarians, and some bards for flavor, some extra magical supplements, and each of those bards surrounded by a wall of gatekeepers. Nice. A lovely little infantry there to just smash apart your enemies. Very cool. So as we said earlier, because of leadership feat, our companions each get a cohort, but since that is a special named NPC of significant power, we will get into introducing those next episode. So I guess that's just going to do it. I feel like maybe this is kind of an abrupt end, but welcome to the Nuts and Bolts episode. We talked about the stuff, and now now it's done. So I'm rambling now. That's where we'll end. Hello, and welcome to As the Dice Turns, the podcast after the podcast. It is I, the darkness beyond the stars, he who stands at death's door, Anthony Geist, the stricken. I apologize, dear listeners, but our heroes are currently engaged in recruiting the forces for the grim battles ahead. They do not have time for our regularly scheduled interview program. But fear not, they shall return in the next episode with a few surprises. Until next time, dear listeners, please accept our humble apologies, and as always, keep those dice turning. Hey there, dear listeners. Sam the DM here, checking in with the credits at the end of the show. Challenge Rating Zero was edited by the incomparable Audius Prime, aka Matt Sims. You can find more of his work at audiusprime.com. Music for Challenge Rating Zero, including our amazing theme song, is provided by the harp wolf Danielle Williams. You can find more of her work at danielletaylorharp.bandcamp.com, including her album Why Are We Surprised When Seasons Change. Additional music for Challenge Rating Zero is provided by Justin Ra. You can find more of his work at justinra.com, including his album Age of the Spirit. If you want to find us on social media, we are on Facebook and Instagram at Challenge Rating Zero. We're at Twitter at Challenge_Zero. And if you'd like to email us here at the show and send in any questions for As the Dice Turn segment, you can send any emails to challengeratingzero@gmail.com. Any questions we receive will be read on air. If you'd like to support the show, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/CR_ZERO. We've got some bonus content on there for you folks if you are interested. And if you can't support us fungibly, we ask only that maybe you take some time to give us a review, recommend us to a friend, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for listening. We're still trying to make the best show we can for you folks. And we're going to keep on keeping on. I hope you all take care of yourselves and each other out there. We'll see you next time.